So this past Saturday, there were these, what some are calling hands-off rallies all over the country.
Interesting.
Yeah, and this one source is saying millions showed up, in their communities. And
Wow, millions. That's
yeah, and it sounds like they were driven by like a real sense of frustration
right.
with a very clear goal, and that's to take our democracy back.
Take our democracy back. Yeah, powerful statement for sure.
Yeah, so to really understand this a bit more, we're going to look at a source who was actually there on the ground
Okay,
the day after one of these rallies took place.
got it.
And this was at the Loudoun County Courthouse, which is a pretty historic spot
Yeah, I know the place.
in Leesburg, Virginia. And they describe Sunday as being much quieter, which makes sense.
Sure.
But the day before, on Saturday, when the rally happened, thousands of people came out from Northern Virginia and the surrounding areas.
So quite a contrast, huh?
Yeah, it's like you could almost picture it, the energy from Saturday, and then it's all quiet on Sunday.
Yeah, almost like a ghost of something that happened, that energy.
Right, exactly. And so the main message that came out of these hands-off rallies, at least according to our source,
Yeah.
was basically this demand. Keep your hands off,
Yeah.
a whole bunch of things. It was just one specific thing. It was
Yeah.
like our democracy, our government, our public servants,
Okay.
the FBI, even the military, and then they even got into
Wow.
the big programs like Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid.
So it sounds like it was, a lot of different concerns coming together.
Yeah, a broad range of things, right?
Yeah, I mean, when you hear a list like that, it seems like there's maybe this feeling that lots of different parts of, well, American life, I guess, are somehow under threat.
Right.
Or, maybe people are losing trust in them, like a bunch of different institutions all at once.
Yeah, for sure. And, our source didn't just observe this rally, they actually spoke at it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, alongside Representative Subramaniam. And they said it was a real honor to do that.
Yeah.
And they talked about how much energy there was from the crowd, and that these weren't just people who were concerned. They were, like, ready to act.
That's always interesting to see when you can tell people aren't just, talking about it. They're ready to do something.
Exactly. And to give you a little more context on who our source is,
Sure.
they're not exactly new to, the whole media scene.
Okay.
They were a contributor at MSNBC for like almost 7 years.
Oh, wow. So they've got some experience.
Yeah, but they felt like they needed to move on, do something more independent, something more grassroots.
So what do you think that was?
Well, they said that while they felt like traditional media was, trying their best, it just wasn't good enough.
So not quite hitting the mark, they felt.
Yeah, not really addressing what's going on in a way that felt, I guess, impactful enough.
I can understand that, feeling like you need to find a different way to get your message out.
Yeah, and the thing is, this source, they really see things through the lens of their own background.
Okay. What's their background?
They actually call themselves a rule of law guy.
Okay. I can already tell this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, and when you hear about their career, it makes sense.
Tell me more.
So they started out as an Army prosecutor.
Wow. Okay. Serious stuff right off the bat.
Yeah, dealing with like court-martials, criminal appeals, even espionage cases.
No kidding.
Oh, and death penalty cases too, so, the really heavy stuff.
So when they say rule of law, they mean it.
Right, exactly. And after that, they spent 24 years as a federal prosecutor, part of the Department of Justice.
Okay, so decades of experience in the legal world, both military and civilian.
Yeah, so when this person talks about the rule of law, it's not just some abstract idea.
Right, it's coming from, like, deep down based on what they've seen and done.
Exactly. And that really leads into their main argument.
Okay, I'm ready. What is it?
And it's pretty strong. They straight up say they believe there's crime on the rise in the Oval Office.
Ooh, going right for it.
Yeah, they don't hold back at all. And they even compare Donald Trump's leadership to, get this, a damn Ryako conspiracy.
Wow, that's a bold statement.
Yeah, they also call it a criminal enterprise, a mob organization, even using the phrase, the big ugly Don.
They're not mincing words.
Nope, not at all. And they really dig into this whole analogy.
Let's hear it.
So they're saying Trump is like the Don.
Okay, I can see where this is going.
And then people like J.D. Vance, they're like the underboss.
Okay.
And they specifically bring up that comment Vance made to President Zelensky about not showing the Don the proper respect.
I remember that, yeah.
And they use that as like proof of how this whole system works.
It's definitely a very creative way to look at those relationships.
Yeah, for sure. And it doesn't stop there.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah. They bring in this law firm, Bondi, Blanche, and Boove, and they call them the consularies.
Consularies. That's not a word you hear every day.
Right, but you get the idea.
I think so. Like, they're the lawyers who are helping the Don.
Exactly. They're the ones, supposedly, doing Trump's dirty bidding in court. It's like arguing that these unconstitutional executive orders are actually constitutional.
Well, that's their job, right? To make legal arguments.
Right. But for someone who spent 30 years as a federal prosecutor, our source is pretty upset about it.
That makes sense. They've been on the other side of things.
Yeah, and they even say that judges are basically ripping them a new one over these arguments.
It's like the courts are pushing back.
Exactly. And that actually ties into one of the big themes from the rallies,
Okay. Which is,
that we need to keep our hands off the courts and off the judges.
yeah, the whole separation of powers thing, right?
Exactly. Keeping those branches of government separate.
A pretty fundamental idea in American democracy.
Totally. And now for something a little different.
Okay, switching gears.
Yeah, so our source, they had a really strong reaction to something Elon Musk did.
Oh, what did he do now?
So apparently Musk sent an email to like 2.1 million public servants.
Wow. Okay.
And in this email, he suggested that they should all leave their government jobs.
Why?
He called them low productivity government jobs and said they should go find high productivity jobs in the private sector.
Interesting. Framing it as a productivity issue.
Yeah, and this really bothered our source.
I can imagine.
They took it personally even because they remembered all those long hours they worked back when they were in the U.S. Attorney's office.
Right, working weekends, all that.
Yeah, and they were like, this wasn't low productivity work.
Definitely pushing back against that idea.
Oh, yeah. They went on to really defend public servants, say they're out there every day giving us our tax dollars worth of work.
Yeah, I think that's a point worth making. People in government often do a lot of important work that doesn't always get noticed.
Totally. And here's something kind of hopeful.
Okay, I like hopeful.
Apparently, most federal employees didn't take the buyout that Musk kind of suggesting they take.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it seems like they value their work and they're committed to public service, despite what Musk might say.
That's encouraging to hear.
It is. And to wrap things up, our source brings it back to their local community.
Okay.
They talk about how they're making these Justice Matters videos.
Justice matters. Powerful phrase.
Yeah, and this really ties everything together. The concerns about the rallies, the importance of people getting involved, and working together to achieve justice.
So kind of like a call to action through those videos.
Exactly. And they keep repeating Justice Matters, which really sticks with you.
Yeah, it's simple, but it gets the point across.
And one last thing. You get the sense from our source that these people who went to the hands-off rallies, they're not done yet.
Really?
Yeah, it's like they're just getting started. Like all the frustration, all the things that motivated them to go to those rallies, it's still there.
So this might just be the first wave, so to speak.
Right, exactly. So a lot to think about here.
Yeah, definitely.
The scale of these rallies, those concerns about the rule of law and how our government's working.
And don't forget about all those public servants.
Yeah, they're a big part of this too. And it really seems like we're in a time where people are fired up.
Yeah, lots of energy out there.
And who knows what's next.
That's the big question.
Stay safe out there, everyone.
And keep thinking critically about what you see and hear.
Always a good idea.
Absolutely.